Hello Airsoft friends and welcome to this video today. What's that you're saying? It's been a while. Yes, it has been a while, but I'm back making a video today for you because I've got a brand new Airsoft replica on my table, which I've been having a play with, and I want to tell you a little bit about my experiences. And if you haven't guessed already by the title and the thumbnail, it is the SSP28. Not to be confused with the SSP18, which says on the carbine kit here because it uses the same carbine kit as the SSP18. Now, yes, the elephant in the room is being cleared. This is a bit different to what I would usually film in my standard office, and that is because I'm having a move around. You can see the walls are different, things are a little bit different in the background, the lighting and stuff is different, and that's because I don't have a permanent setup yet sorted out for filming videos. I'm hoping to get that done at some point in the near future, but once that is done, we will be back to making a bit of video content for you, which is going to be very, very nice. Big shout out to all my Patreons who have been very, very patient with me the last few months, and also a big shout out to Novritsch for sending this to me, because without them sending this to me, I wouldn't be able to make that video. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and it's been fun playing with this thing. As you can see, I've got a little purple tag on it here, and that's because I took it with me to a game day to play with it, and I was a little bit surprised by it. The SSP18 I always thought was quite a cool little pistol. However, it didn't perform enough for me to warrant it as being my always sidearm. The pistol that did do that was the SSP5, and originally the SSP 4.3 was my main sidearm pistol, but I've actually swapped over to the SSP 5.1 now. Why? I guess the extra length makes it feel a little bit nicer, although I never really had any issues with the 4.3 version, and it was always still able to lift like the 4.43 gram BBs at like decent distances, so I guess I just feel like I like the 5.1. It's a little bit longer, it just feels a bit more pistol-y for me. Anyway, a question here today, which we're going to potentially try and answer is, will the SSP28 be replacing my SSP 5.1 as my go-to sidearm? Well, who knows? We'll find out at the end of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe the video to get more content on Airsoft as well. Another caveat, this one's for YouTube. All of these are toys. I now no longer have lots of toy replicas in the background in hopes that YouTube isn't just going to think that I live inside an armory gun room type thing. Everything that I'm using today is an Airsoft replica, so you need to remember that, YouTube. Thank you very much. So the SSP28 is first and foremost a Glock style or G style pistol. I probably shouldn't point it at myself because YouTube's not going to like that. However, why don't we just make this our thumbnail? Where this is different though from a standard Glock type pistol is it has a split slide design. So if I pull this bit back here, you can see the front of the slide, or what would be the slide, doesn't move anywhere. It's just this part of the replica that does move backwards and forwards like that. And the thing that makes that really, really good to have on a pistol is the fact that your outer barrel is truly fixed. It doesn't move anywhere. It stays completely still. So when you're taking your shots, it makes it really consistent. See, like, pull that there. Zero movement of the outer barrel on the front end on there at all. And that's the reason why I don't actually have a red dot sight mounted on this at the moment. If you didn't want to run it in the carbine kit, it does come with a red dot sight mount here, as you can see, and this actually mounts on the top of this part here, on the top of the split slide where the hop adjustment is, because it's got a TDC hop adjuster right there. So you can mount this, you can still adjust your TDC through the top, but you can have your red dot sight mounted either further to the back or further to the front, depending on which way that you mount your red dot sight mount. Also, in terms of accessories, you can have the universal holster mount, which will go on the side of the pistol, either in these holes here or in these holes here. But again, as I'm running the carbine kit with this pistol, I've actually got it already integrated here onto the carbine kit. So if I did want to run this with the universal holster system, which is actually a pretty cool system, and I do recommend you checking it out, especially if you're going to be picking up the pistol. I run it all the time on my SSP 5.3, then it makes it really easy to holster, use, and kind of keep your belt kit really small, because you don't need to have like a big plasticky holster out on there to keep your pistol. It also allows you to kind of carry this thing, if you are using it as a primary, you can holster it nice and easily, and then get your pistol out and, you know, go room clearing. But because this thing is so small and tight, you can actually room clear with this on its own as well. You may notice as well, I've got a big grippy grip thing here on the front, and I've got that because I find when using the carbine kit, it really aids in my hand positioning. And the cool thing about this being a split slide is when you're using this front grip, you can actually have your front thumb here on the side of the slide. Now, this isn't good practice because if you start using carbine kits with other types of pistols and you do this, you're gonna have a bad time. But if you're solely just using this kind of carbine kit, though it kind of may be a bit frowned upon, you can run it with your thumb up here, and I must admit, it does feel quite comfortable. Like G18 standard replica pistol-y type things, you do have your semi-auto and full auto selector here, and this does have a beastie rate of fire of 28 BBs per second. Now, I'm kind of a big advocate that anywhere between 12 to 16 BBs a second is plenty. Like, if you're not hitting people with that amount of BBs, then you probably need to go to the target range for a little bit, or learn how to lead your shots, because maybe you're just shooting in the wrong place. But the fact that this has got 28 BBs per second, maybe just enjoy the snappiness of the semi-auto shooting and don't focus too much on the full auto, unless you will be running a drum mag like this thing here. This is what I like to use when I was running my carbine kit, just because it's one magazine, you chuck it in there, you're ready to go, you give it a quick wind, and boom, you are now shooting for days. It's comfortable, it adds a nice bit of weight to the replica, and it's also very centralized weight. It just kind of pulls it straight down like this and makes it really comfortable to use. Other features that this pistol includes are a steel hammer group, so hopefully your hammer won't break very quickly, a non-dropping fixed outer barrel, which we touched on before, along with the ultra lightweight CNC split slide, which makes it ultra efficient and gives you really snappy recoil. It's got the adjustable TDC and will lift up to 0.46 gram BBs out the box, which is a really big thing, especially if you like to use heavyweight BBs, because this thing is going to do it. And I do like to use heavy BBs in my pistols just to make sure that people feel my shots when I hit them. You know what I mean. It's got an ambidextrous slide catch and mag release, as you would expect on a standard Glock style pistol, and a 14mm counterclockwise thread on the front, which is this bit here. And I do like the little turret style thread protector they've got on the front there, but it means that you could put on there a suppressor if you wanted to, or a tracer unit, or any kind of like muzzle device on the front there, should you choose. And because it's got that fixed non-dropping outer barrel, it's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to affect the trajectory of the BBs, and it's also not going to affect the recoil, which it can do on other type of Glock style pistols that do have that dropping, moving around outer barrel. Out of the box, this pistol will give you 1 joule of power, or roughly 320 FPS on a 0.2 gram BB, so pretty much legal absolutely everywhere, apart from I think in Asia where the limit's like 0.5 joules, which I don't understand how you can play airsoft with just half a joule, honestly. I also got sent one of these TTI mags, and these are the lightweight aluminium ones, and honestly I can't explain how lightweight these things are. They are absolutely ridiculous. This is how snappy it is on semi-auto. Really, really, really nice. This is what the full auto dump sounds like. Coming from a pistol, that's pretty mad, but I love that. The snappiness though is where it gets me. I also prefer the trigger on this one over the SSP28. Now the SSP28, they did try to make the trigger feel more like a real steel trigger, so you've got that kind of like heavier like click to it, whereas this one is certainly softer and much more airsoft styled trigger. So I do prefer it more, I think, to the SSP28 trigger, and it's something that you're gonna really, really like as well. It also has fiber optic sights on there by default. The back one is actually off there because you need to remove it for the carbine kit there, but it does have fiber optic sights on there too. And by default, look, the carbine kit, you can actually use the rail for a sight if you wanted to. But like I said before, I didn't actually run it with a red dot sight. I just took it out to the range. And when I shot, because it was actually really consistent, once I got the hop dialed in, I didn't need it. I was just literally like, okay, there we go. And the muscle memory took over, and the BBs just went where they were. And you could just see from the trajectory of the BBs if you needed to go a little bit like, you know, adjust for the wind that way, or maybe if you wanted to get a little bit more range if they're a bit further away. So yeah, I was actually really quite surprised when using that. And it is just, I think it just all comes down to the fact it's got that fixed barrel in the similar way that the SSP5 has that fixed barrel. You just enjoy that consistency, and the groupings were really tight, and it just, the BBs just go where you want them to, which is really nice. And if you need to, you can always just quickly clear out a room like this. Until you run out of gas, that is. You do, of course, in the box get the stock magazine with it too. This is a fancy extra one you can get, and ooh, it is a lot colder. These do suffer from cooldown a lot more than a standard magazine because they are the alley. So if you're not going to be using it like constantly, if you're going to be doing one taps most of the time, these are really good investment and really do keep the weight of your rigging down. But if you don't have like the extra money to spend on those, or you just want to have a couple of mags and you're not really too fussed about the weight, the standard mag is perfectly fine. and it still makes it sound like that, which is good. For context, this is the standard mag. This is the big double extended mag, the aluminium type one, the TTI extended aluminium mag. And between the two, this one is still heavier than the red one. Isn't that just insane? This is lighter than this one here. So you can only imagine how light this thing is. Honestly, this thing is so light, it's ridiculous. You can probably get 2 or 3 of these mags, maybe like 2 of these mags to every one of these in terms of weight. So it really, really does make a big difference in keeping the weight down. And if you aren't going to be spamming your trigger, if you're just going to be picking your shots, you're not going to get that cooldown problem. So yeah, I do highly recommend the TTI mags with it. And there we go. That is the SSP28. This thing is cool. It was a long time coming. It got teased at a show quite a while ago, and ever since then people were asking for it, people wanted it to go live, and now it is here. So if you want to get yours, head on over to the Novritsch website, check it out. I don't have any like links or anything like that, so just go check it out on the website, enjoy it, and let me know what you think in the comments below. It's been a while, I love you. Oh, and also if you do get the carbine kit, this is the Project Airsoft custom adaptery thing. I recently saw on the Novritsch social channels, they're all like, you know, testing out making other different carbine kit adapters. I got in there first. Project Airsoft did that first, Novritsch. Pay me for my ideas. This is the adapter here for the Aries folding stock, as you can see, and this stock is infinitely better than the stock that comes with the carbine stock. But there's a few different variants on there. There is the Picatinny one on there already. There's a buffer tube adapter. And there's a couple of others on there as well. But you can check them all out on the Project Airsoft website. But there we go. SSP28.